Hello, hello. Let's see. We are live. Okay, good. Fabulous. So we are live on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram as usual. So let's get some of your questions in and we'll address them as in order in which they come, obviously. So just keep in mind that it will take me a couple of minutes to see your questions to be able to answer them. So if you have any particular question pertaining to US immigration, just put it in. Do not post the question more than once. It just clutters the field. I will get to it. So good. First things first, welcome. Good to see you. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm located in Florida, but we do have clients all over the United States, all over the world, because we do handle family petitions here in the United States, as well as people coming to the United States with through family. Okay, so when we are talking family, we are talking US citizens or permanent residents petitioning for their spouses, parents, children, or siblings. Okay. So, any questions you guys have, just post them in here and I'll be happy to address them. Now, one of the most recent question that comes up is this new parole that the Biden administration announced a couple of weeks back. And yes, for the most simple cases where the clients, entered once, entered illegally, basically without a visa, it's not visa overstay. They are married to a U.S. citizen and they've been here for 10 years. Generally speaking, those qualify. But that is not your typical case. Okay, your typical case is really. I have a removal order, or I have asylum pending, or I was married but I divorced my spouse. So what's going on now? Can I still take advantage of this parole? And all those questions do come up. Okay, so no, if if you were not married and are not married at the time this parole was announced, you would not qualify. If you entered the day after, basically you haven't been here 10 years on the day that it was announced, you don't qualify. We do not yet know what is going to happen to those individuals who have it otherwise meet the criteria but have a removal order, have been in removal proceedings, or they are still in immigration court. Maybe they picked up a criminal charge. It doesn't matter how small. It doesn't matter if it was a fender bender in a car accident. We don't know how far this is going to extend and who's going to be affected by this and who actually can take advantage of this new parole information. What we find most of the time, those people who call us and book a consultation with us, we go over, they call because of the parole, they call because of this program. And by the way, nobody can file those yet. They are not available to be filed. It has not yet been published in the Federal Register. Okay, so we do not yet know what the guidelines are going to be, how much work is going to take. Okay, so knowing all that, what we see when we are meeting with people is they really had options 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, but they just didn't know. They could have been US citizens by now, and they didn't know. Some of these people have been married to a US citizen for 20 something years. Okay, they just didn't know that they could do something even if they entered without inspection, no matter how long. So when I asked them, what have you done? And they are saying, well, I have seen a lawyer 10 years ago. I'm like, I have clients who see me every 6 months because the law changes that much when it comes to immigration. So if you haven't seen a lawyer in a while, or you think you may not have chances, it's always worth paying for a consultation with someone who's going to give you legal advice, not just we can help you, we'll let you know how later. Okay, so you don't want that. What you want is an attorney who's going to give you legal advice when you meet with them, assuming you provided all the correct information, you gave them the information ahead of time. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. So let's talk about some of those options that we have been able to find on people who booked legal strategy sessions with us. Okay, I had a client who was so abused by their permanent resident spouse, okay, that They had scars all over their body that were documented. Okay. And they didn't know that they could do something because the spouse was not a citizen. They just didn't know. Okay. I had another consultation where a prospective client said, well, I am on TPS, but I didn't know I could apply for residency because there was a complication with the spouse. Okay. But they thought they couldn't apply because the US citizen spouse had a criminal record. It turns out, by the way, if you guys didn't know, there is only one way that the US citizen petitioner cannot, or permanent resident cannot, sponsor a foreign national. And that is the case where they have a criminal record that is of sexual nature. So basically, if they are a sexual offender. So in this particular case, I was meeting with them and their spouse was arrested for such a crime. They were not a sexual offender, okay? It wasn't one of those offenses that would have prevented them from filing. They just didn't know. So they were literally sitting on a green card for years, okay? So don't sit on those things, okay? I had a client, we met with them about a year ago, and they had no options. The priorities have changed, the policies have changed, and some of these people are able to apply for prosecutorial discretion with the immigration court to reopen their removal order and close it. And now they can get the green card. So don't think you know what you don't know. It would be like me calling a doctor, okay, and saying to the doctor, hey, yeah, see, I have some sort of stomach pain. How much is the surgery gonna cost? Okay, you do not know. You do not know. The doctor cannot give you a price on the surgery. You may not even need surgery. Maybe you just need a pill for the heartburn. Maybe you have something simple that can be fixed with medication, with treatment. You do not know if you need surgery. And even if you need surgery, how is the doctor going to know how extensive that surgery is going to be until they do testing? It is very similar when you meet with an immigration attorney and you discuss your case. Let me give you an example, okay? Somebody says, I have 2 entries, 1 false claim to citizenship. Can I qualify for the PIP? That by itself, it's an example of calling the surgeon and saying how much my surgery is going to cost because I have some pain. To you guys, this is, to most people, I have people working for my firm for 10 years who still do not know the answers to some of these questions, okay? And they shouldn't because they are not the attorney. To most people, it's a simple question and somebody should be able to give you a simple answer. For an attorney to give you proper advice and to answer what you think it's a simple question, we have to ask you about 100 different questions to be able to give you the right advice. Okay? Because otherwise you could go on Google and say, hey, I have 2 entries, one false claim. Can I qualify for the PIP? I don't have enough information to answer that for you. Okay? So keep that in mind. Seriously, that's the way I want you guys to think about it. Okay? So let's go over some of your questions before I go into more war stories and tell you more. All right. Do you have information reference to the form D All Plus? I have no idea what that is. I got approved for bona fide determination for Visa U. How long will my beneficiaries get the approval? Adolfo, usually EU visas, after you got your certification, you filed for the U and you received for bona fide determination. We have seen the entire U visa process take as long as 8 years. When VAWA it's approved, 7 months, how long will you have to wait for your green card? I have some people who were approved the same day that the VAWA was approved. They got the green card the same day. I also have 2 clients who are waiting, same as you, where the VAWA was approved and they were approved a year and a half ago and they are still waiting for the green card. For some reason or another, I'm assuming that some will be qualifying for visa waiver and some will just will need to have an interview, and that it's a matter of transferring the case to your local office where they are going to schedule an interview. We received the S5535 form after interview. It's been 2 months. When do you suggest we hire a lawyer? You should have hired a lawyer before you even started the process. Okay. If you received that form, okay, after the interview and it's been 2 months, what is the status of your case online when you log on? Does it say visa refused? Does it say administrative processing? Tell me what's going on, Farah, okay? USCIS, oh, Vanessa, why does USCIS show 13 months wait time for I-130? Only 13 months? That's not even bad. You submitted it February 2024. You got ways to go. 80% of their cases, 80% of their cases, they say are being processed in a 13-month period. So when you're looking and they say it's a 13-month period, sorry, you guys on Facebook and YouTube, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking mostly at TikTok, because that's where I see most of the messages, okay? So when you see that, that means 80% of the cases get processed within a 13-month period. Nobody's going to tell you if you fall in the 80% or the 20%, but they will not allow you to file an inquiry, okay, until that processing time has passed. There is, if you scroll down from the time of the processing time, it will ask you for your receipt date, and then it will tell you what's the earliest you can apply for, you can file an inquiry, okay? All right. Yes, please ask your question only once. I'll get to them. Just having double, it just slows everybody down. I have a question. My friend allows someone to use his green card to work and then they got turned in. Your friend needs to book, a call with an immigration attorney to see how that affects his case, if any. Because it might not, and it could be no effect at all, and it could be really bad, okay? They really should contact an immigration attorney. How long I-130 for siblings shows approved on my USCIS account. So I-130 for siblings, hi, Canty. You filed it, okay? It was approved. It doesn't go by the date it was approved. From the day you filed, if you look at your I-130 receipt, it has a priority date, okay? That is the priority date. That is the date that matters. Now, if it shows approved in your USCIS account, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to transfer your case to the National Visa Center. At that point, National Visa Center will create a case, okay, assuming your siblings are abroad. And then your siblings are going to have to wait until there is a visa available for them. And you can check that on the visa bulletin, okay? If my case is over 2 years, no interview, what can I do? First, I don't know what kind of case you have. There are 186 different visa types, guys. I don't know what kind of case you have. However, if you would have told me you already had an interview and it's been 2 years, that's a huge issue, okay? Now, your case is over 2 years, doesn't tell me anything, because for some cases, like I was telling the person with the U visa, it could be 8 years. Removal of conditions, for example, it's 5 years, but you could speed it up. Regular I-130s, anywhere between 12 months and 48 months. So it really matters, okay? So I do not know. You're not giving me enough information. You're welcome, Jew. How about your brother, sister, citizen, and I applied their case almost like 11 years? If it's been 11 years, it really matters on what country of origin you are. That is very easy to see where you are in the line if you just search for the visa bulletin and you follow the charts, okay? You might want to talk to an attorney to see how you can prepare yourself to be properly positioned. If it's been already 11 years, probably not much longer, unless you're India, Philippines, Mexico, or Jesus, the fourth one escapes me. India, China. Okay, so if it's any of those four, it's going to take significantly longer. Brother, sister, like now for India, for example, is 23 years. Okay. Okay. Can I renew my work authorization while my VAWA is pending? It depends on your situation. Some people can renew, some people cannot renew. What is your work authorization based on? Is it based on you having an open removal case, having an asylum pending VAWA? or pending adjustment of status that's attached to the VAWA. Do you have a work permit on TPS or DACA? That's not enough information. See, this is what I get a lot when people call. They're like, well, I have a simple question. When can I do X, or am I eligible for X? There is no such thing. You are not giving me enough information to be able to answer the question for you, okay? All right. How long prima facie or biometric come after you receive notice in VAWA? Biometric, if you already had, say, recently a TPS or DACA or something else applied for that they took biometrics, they might not call you for biometrics at all. Prima facie, usually the first one comes about 6 months later, okay? How long does pending I-485 take to approve? You applied, I'm assuming, November 2023. What category did you apply the 485 under? Was it fiancé, who came into fiancé and then got married? Was it based on marriage? What is it based on? Is it employment based, siblings? What is it? I cannot tell based on that. Parent, child. My I-485 actively reviewing from March. That's nothing. You could wait another 3 months to a year and a half. My EAD and I-130 is approved. I-485 still pending. Why? I entered legally category C9. They need to schedule you for an interview. They are okay with the relationship of, you proved the relationship between you and whoever petitioned for you, okay? But now there could be issued, doesn't mean it's your entry. It could be anything else. It could be somebody who has the exact same name as you, and you don't know why you're being pulled into an interview, okay? If the I-130 is approved and 485 is still pending, you may have some options where you may be able to do something to get the government to schedule you for an interview. Most of the time, you just have to wait. And how you enter the country when it comes to processing times for those applications, it's irrelevant. After someone TPS gets approved, should they file for the I-106A? I have never heard of a 106A. You mean 601A? What is that for? Because TPS being approved and 601A has nothing to do with each other. Candy, you filed on 2021, still shows actively reviewing. Is that normal? Let me see. Based on what you said earlier, because you guys think I'm going to remember 20 questions before? Nah. I-130 for siblings. So you only applied, shows approved already. I-130 is approved already. Fabulous. Let's see. I applied for my brother and sister in 2011. Okay, no, that's somebody else. Hold on, Canty. I'm getting to you, Canty. Hold on. Okay. Filed on 2021, still shows actively reviewing. Very normal for that category. Absolutely very normal. My mother-in-law came illegally 13 years ago. 1 year ago, her son, who's a citizen, applied for her. That's awesome. So nothing so far, but it was only a year ago. It's about time, but you can check on those. Excuse me, guys. You can check on those. You can see where you are in the line, about how much longer. Guys, get familiar with those tools. They are available to you and they're free, okay? You do not need an attorney to tell you how much longer does it take on your application. Your USCIS portal, and with a receipt in hand, you can get that just by going to USCIS's website. How much longer is it going to be for a petition that was approved? Next step is the National Visa Center. If a visa is not available, nothing's moving. It's just going to be stuck there for another 15 to 20 years unless the visa is available, okay? You need to learn how to navigate the visa bulletin, okay? Learn the visa bulletin. Those are the two important things that you can see. And the third one is really going to the EOIR website if you are in removal and check where your case is and when your next court date is, okay? But get familiar with those. That's very easy for you guys to figure it out for free. My 485 actively from March, how long you think it will be approved? No idea. You could be going for an interview and the interview could be in 3 years, or they could decide they don't want an interview with you and you could be approved without an interview in less than 3 months. I do not know how your application was filed. I do not know how much evidence you submitted. I don't know if there is information on there that contradicts a prior application. I don't know any of that, okay? Can a EU citizen come and work here in the US? If you have a work permit or a work visa, yes, your biggest problem is going to find an employer who's going to sponsor you for your job. The more qualified you are with more degrees, the easier it is to find. I requested FOIA from Department of State. They keep saying additional info is needed, but they won't say which info. They absolutely tell you which info, you just don't know how to read it. Go hire an immigration attorney. My EAD, that one was answered by Sunny. U.S. citizens married, Saffron. Hold on, let me get back to you because I don't remember what you said last time. I answered 10 other questions since then. How long does 485 take to approve? November 2023. Yeah, okay, Saffron, so was your I-130 approved? Did you apply one step? How did you apply? Okay. Yeah, you may be getting a green card. Again, like I told the other person, you may be getting a green card without an interview if your application packet is 100% correct and there are no mistakes, and depending on the amount of evidence you guys submitted. If you only sent like 3 pictures and a plane ticket, that's not going to get you very far. So you're going to have to wait for an interview. After someone gets TPS approved, thank you, Diamond, for rephrasing yours. Should they file for a 601A? It depends. What are you trying to do? TPS doesn't require you to file for anything. You are talking about, how do I get a green card? What are you trying to do? What are you filing the 601A for? Okay. Are you trying to, you entered illegally and you're trying to get advanced parole to travel outside so you can do a green card? What's going on? It doesn't give me enough info. Velara, my mother-in-law, she's been in the US with a green card for more than 5 years. Have her apply for citizenship, for God's sake, seriously. There is no protection from deportation other than citizenship. Permanent residents can be deported, can be removed. Okay, the term is removal, it's not deportation, okay? So Saffron, did you come into the United States on a fiancé visa and then you guys got married and just filed the 485 in November? Or I still don't have enough info. She tried to become a citizen, but she doesn't speak English, not reading nor writing. Maybe, why doesn't she? Does she have any disabilities, mental disabilities, psychological, anything that would prevent her from passing the test? If that is the case, she might still be able to get her citizenship. Otherwise, no, she's gonna need to pass. Okay, hold on. Okay. Can I renew my work permit while my VAWA is pending? Yes, you can. Oh, do I fill out asylum since 2015 till now? They never call me for an interview. You should consider yourself 100% extra lucky, super lucky that they didn't call you for an interview. First, you need to make sure that they haven't called you for an interview. Make sure they didn't call you for an interview and you missed it. Make sure you didn't, by any chance, change your address and you forgot to tell them, so now you didn't get a notice. Get your alien number and check your status online, okay? So you can see, maybe you have a removal order and you don't know. If not, and it's all clean and it still shows cases pending, count your blessings and find another way to become a resident in the United States, okay? I see you're saying you're in Miami Beach. Give us a call, we can help you, okay? Not with the asylum, we can see if you have other options. My husband qualified documentarily on 2nd April. When can his visa be? He's not getting a visa if he's documentarily qualified until he has an interview at the consulate. Here is the way that works, okay? You become documentarily qualified. Only at that point, you are in line for an interview. So let's say, for argument's sake, you are from Colombia. So your interview needs to be in Bogota. And you just became documentarily qualified. The consulate in Bogota is going to tell the National Visa Center, hey, for the month of September, not August, because that's too soon, for the month of September, we have 500 people you can schedule for interviews because that's how many appointments we have available. And then they're going to schedule the first 500 people who are in line for that particular consulate. Next month, they're going to come back and they're going to tell NVC, hey, NVC, for the month of whatever, October, if that's the next one, we only have 30 appointments available because we have 5 people going on training, we have 2 going here, we have whatever going whatever, so they don't have the staff, so they can only handle that much. So the next 30 people get interviews. How long it's going to take until they call you for an interview? You don't know. You're going to find out. There is nothing you can do. But remember this, because this is what most people don't do. You actually got lucky. You are documentally qualified. So most people, they think they are in line because it was approved and now they have to just send some documents in at the National Visa Center. Nothing is moving in your case if you're not submitting their documents. Nothing. How long does N400 last usually before you receive an interview? Depending on where you are. Okay, depending on where you are, what your location is. For example, in Oakland Park, we had people who we submitted in at the end of April and beginning of May who are already a citizen. Okay, it depends on where you are. I have a couple of clients in Maryland who are waiting a little bit longer. Okay, just top of my head because I just looked at them today. Receive work permit 1 year now through marriage. For how long for the green card? Work permit, receiving the work permit has 0, 0, 0 to do with how long you're going to go until you get your green card. They might extend that work permit even after the 5 years. They gave you a 5-year work permit. It could take that long. They might send you a green card without an interview. Okay? I got my green card a year ago. How to find a way to get passport? You are getting a passport when you become a citizen. You are going to get a citizenship. You are going to become a citizen when you pass the naturalization test and when you get through that. So naturalization is either 3 years from the time you got the green card or 5 years after you got the green card, depending on your situation. Okay. Okay, thank you. Now I'm married and she's a citizen, American. Okay, so what did you do about your asylum, T-Count? Okay, Miami Beach, what did you do about it? Have you done anything about it? Because you asked me about asylum. You didn't ask me about your spouse. Okay, so let's chat. Give us a call. Our number is 954-466-0070. You can find that in our bio, okay? Timeline for 751. Oh, Ami, I wish I could give you better news. 4 years, minimum 4 years. When you're getting the receipt, it actually gives you an extension of your green card for about 4 years. Now, if you are married and still living with your spouse, you have other options. Give us a call. All right. Can I get some type of work permit if I was brought to the US when I was 8 months old? If you were brought to the US when you were 8 months old, you would have had DACA by now, okay, depending on the country, maybe TPS even. So both of those would have allowed you to get a work permit, okay, regardless of how you enter the country. So you might want to talk to your parents or whoever and see what happened in your case. There is something you don't know about your history, okay? And give us a call. We might be able to help you, okay? Can you stay more than 6 months in Nepal with a US citizen? Are you a citizen or do you want to go stay in Nepal? I'm not understanding the question. What's your status? What the question is? What do you mean in Nepal with US citizen? Can my son 21 apply for me even if I have a final deportation? Yes. But that is not easy. You should not try to do that on your own. Give us a call, 954-466-0070. And no, by the way, our consultations, legal strategy sessions are not free. This is the service that I do for free. My pleasure, Miami Beach. Give us a call. What are the process timelines for fiancé visa? So fiancé visas are multi-step process. Make sure you are not married to your fiancé. There are people who think, oh, just because it's not registered, she's still my fiancé. Meanwhile, they did have a full wedding. So make sure you're not married. You just intend to get married. Okay, Hussein? So First, you file a fiancé petition on their behalf. Some of them get approved in 2 months, some of them in about 9 months. And then it gets sent to the National Visa Center, who's going to schedule them for an interview. So altogether, the process for the fiancé visa varies widely on the consulate. And if there are no mistakes, no delays, everything is clean, you should be able to have your fiancé here in about a year. That being said, I have one fiancé visa. It's been pending for 3 years. Nothing you can do sometimes. It's the consulate that doesn't process them. Hashim, I came through the border, seek asylum. Can you marry US citizen and get your green card in the US? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on where exactly you are with the process. You might be able to get it in the US. You might be able to go back to your country and be there for like a couple of weeks in order for you to get the green card, okay? Guys, for some of these questions, when you know it's complicated, if you don't already have an immigration attorney, please, for God's sake, you don't have to hire me. You don't like me. You don't want to talk to me. It's fine. Hire an immigration attorney. Hire an experienced immigration attorney. They need to know what they are doing. And yes, okay? I don't know. I say it in Spanish all the time, but you know, lo barato sale caro, okay? So you need to know, okay? You pay what you get, what you pay for, okay? Can I travel to Mexico before my oath ceremony? Most likely, yes. You're talking about before your oath ceremony, but after your interview. So most likely, yes. However, it depending on your situation, you may not want to, okay? Is it important for you to travel? Can you delay the travel? Now, remember another thing. Once you get your oath ceremony, you get your certificate of naturalization. On that day, you're already a US citizen. You can no longer enter and leave the United States with a permanent resident card because you will no longer have that. So as soon as you become a US citizen, you need to apply for a US passport. And those take forever unless you have already booked travel ahead of time, okay? And then you can get an emergency passport, but even those take a while, okay? So hopefully that addressed it. Give us a call. Let's discuss timelines, okay? U visa can save you from removal. Yes, it can. Can I-485? Judane, seriously? Can I-485 be approved before I-130? No, I-485 does not have a basis to be approved on without the I-130, okay? Judane, give us a call. Okay. Can pending not main applicant advance parole emergency to home countries? I don't understand the question. How long is the process for citizenship after applying? Married to US citizen, 3 years married. It doesn't matter if you've been married 3 years. It matters how long have you been a permanent resident for, okay? Now, assuming you mean you have been a permanent resident for 3 years, then yes, you can apply. And now you're saying how long would it take? It depends on your location. Some of us in Oakland Park, we can get them, you know, scheduled within 2 to 3 months. And I do have others that are pending a long time. We are Shan. We are located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but we have clients all over the United States, literally in all states and quite a few countries, okay? We're talking about 120 countries already, okay? If my undocumented husband joins the Air Force, can he get a green card? If he is undocumented, he cannot join the Air Force. Do I need to apply for ESTA to visit Spain? I do not know. I handle US immigration. All right, I answered enough questions for today. I actually went over time, so that is all the time I have today. I actually do have to go. So see you guys.